So welcome to my city development world part bonus part as soon as it loads here. So if you watched my last live stream or my Christmas live stream, you know that I've been working under. And actually, let me get on here first so I see it. I mean, I'm sure I've already screwed in because I'm under here, but we'll come back in a second. Now I'm going to show you the underside of my world like I was planning, but also I was planning to. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to show you the underside of my world, and then I'm going to do another part. It'll be like bonus part 2, or I'll do a little bit of it here, and then I'll stop. So let's go ahead and turn around. Take a look what the world looks like from underneath. Now the first thing you can probably recognize, if you look right up, is the yellow foundation of the skyscraper up here. And under it you can see several famous parts of this world prior to its demolition. Here's the old 3-terrace house that infamously caught fire. Here's the warehouse, with its foundation still remains. And there's all sorts of bits and bobs, but I have a story that's going to go along with this to make this look better. First, let's just look around. Now, these buildings have foundations all at different levels. Here's the church, for example. Here's a building that was infamously lost to the earthquake in 1930. There's some newer buildings. There's the ranch's foundations. The only one which I didn't do it technically, the only building I didn't technically do it properly on was this one. But I thought digging out the foundation would just be enough, as most of this is on surface anyway still. And if we go up here, you can take a quick look world view at the top, because most people never saw this view when I did these videos. So what I'm going to get into my next part in a second here. Just as soon as I get my paperwork. So the first structure I'm going to show in all its forms is this first one here, with all its back buildings included. In another video I'll show you my notes so you can actually see it, but so let's head back to episode 1 when this house first appeared. So the house appears on your left with its original building foundation. And then the road makes its first appearance here also. And then you probably saw across the street, and I've made myself some here. If you see that door back there is the other first house built then, which was demolished for the terraced houses that are now over there. This was the building's first. This building appeared for the whole series. This building was first and the last episode. Was this first one and the second one. And there's the basement steps that you may remember from later on. If I skip myself a little bit. So here's when this house that's now under the Kmart building was built. This one has an interesting story because if you actually watch these episodes, you'll know that by accident I said that we're supposed to put on the church, which is coming up in a minute. Which form you'll see in a little bit here. I said, hey, that sometimes the government will add an extension to the church. I accidentally added it to that building. And here's the early general store in its first appearance in its first form. So now we see the general store. Now we see it in its first complete form. And that house's complete form. I know I shouldn't enlarge the screen, but actually I'm going to go ahead and do. So now we're seeing the first form of the church as it's being constructed in its first episode. Let's skip ahead a bit so you're not seeing the whole thing. But so here's the church, its earliest form. Hence the cross. I skipped over it, put something down doing floor work. Actually, this is the church's final appearance was actually this episode in this version, I believe. And so here's the mistake. That might be going to a blooper reel special, if I do one. This is actually a house, not the church. I'm surprised I didn't catch that myself. So that's basically what this town looks like for the whole rest of the episode. Although I'm mentioning there's farms or something out here, if I remember. Let's skip ahead a bit. Fix the road up. There's the road leading to the church. That had its first appearance then. So here's the little wood corner house, which survived for a while. This was the first one to have glass put in it. It looks weird in this version. Oops. Yeah, here's the glass. So here's the first appearance of the factory in episode 1. But as this episode was sort of I didn't want to put factory in the first episode, but it started happening at this point. If I'm correct, you're just seeing foundation work. So I'm going to pause this and come right back. Then part with episode 2. Okay, now we're on part 2. In the Age of Machines. We'll skip ahead a bit because I don't think we do anything for the first couple minutes. So there's the inside of the church. Okay, well, we're facing up the grass, so we'll just cut that out. Okay, we're working in the factory a bit. Okay, here's the first time these terraced houses ever appeared. There's another blooper reel. Forgot that fire tick was off. I'll skip ahead a little bit. There's the first foundation. To be built for an archaeological purpose. For the series, which you saw under. I know I kind of sped through it, but you could see it. It's all a staircase. That's just basically what's this whole episode, right? So now we're seeing the bottom of the factory. So there's the path that leads up to the factory. And there's the first time the terraced houses ever appeared. The farthest one on the left that you can see disappeared in episode 6, but later came back in another form. So here's me building some of them. So this is the final time this version of the general store ever appeared. It was this episode that we got the newer version with the houses on top of it. Or the apartments, sorry, I think is what I call them at that point. And there's another blooper reel worthy moment. I couldn't remember what they called the factory money. So there it is in its first full appearance. So working on the terraced house a bit. I'll say I haven't still finished them yet at this point. That house is finished. So we're working on around the factory and those terraced houses when they first made their appearance. At that point I was just laying foundation. So there's that. So this house's final appearance is this episode. Because by episode 3 it's gone. So is that church, so it's technically its last appearance. In that form at least. I'm sorry, OCD people, if you just saw that clip, because it's not straight and I fixed it, but... So now we get to the factory in another form with its almost completed tower. And here's the spot for the future mansion, or the Aston Mansion as it later becomes known. Yeah, there's a llama there. I filmed this episode right around llamas started coming in, so you'll see quite a few of them here. Still need to finish, at that point I still need to finish and work down a little bit. I think this was basically that whole episode was this, what we're seeing here. And here's the early City Hall laying out foundation plan. This was later moved. But as of right now, it's in its then current original place, which would be improved by the next episode. So we're seeing the brick road coming up to the old one. Yeah, that episode? Yeah, it is. Now we're on to part 3. We're inside the house, and this is the first time beds ever appeared in this world. And yeah, I went a little overboard back then. And so now you can see all the terraced houses, the new church, these terraced houses, that terraced house in that store, the factory in its almost final form, City Hall in its first appearance, those terraced houses' first appearance, the bank in its first appearance, the warehouse and that factory in its first appearance. I hadn't really properly built the bank at that point. So we're exploring around town a little bit. Here's the new church that still exists this episode, and the first appearance of the Aston Mansion. The weather would just have to be the perfect color for a factory. Yeah. So here's the warehouse. This episode was its first and last appearance. So here's the fire, or the explosion at the factory, which ravaged most of town. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit so you can see it a little bit. So there's the factory, and there goes that store. However, I did reuse that floor later on for the skyscraper that house goes on. That house goes in this episode. The general store goes in this episode. These terrace houses go in that episode, so does that road. The warehouses go. Let's get over myself a little bit here. So I'm not boring you. Here's the factory when that catches fire. Yeah, here's these terraced houses in their first appearance and getting caught on fire. So yeah, the town basically got ravaged at that point. This is back when the city was known as Albertsville, I believe, before I named it its now current name. So now we're exploring around the general store. Areas like this. Some of these buildings had their final appearance in this episode. However, the general store did get another form because I did partially rebuild it at one time, but then I fixed it right back up. Hard to demo it. Yeah, and then that's when the pollution got on fire from that fire. Yeah, those terraced houses. I actually like this one. I might rebuild them again. Somewhere else, another world, maybe. Let's get myself a little bit. The problem with this episode was it was basically the fire, and then it was just, you saw the wrecked buildings, and then you demolished them. Okay. So now you see the foundation of the 3 terraced houses that we just saw. in the beginning of this episode. You still see the warehouse in its current form. And I believe I'm starting to talk about the skyscraper at this point. I'm going to skip ahead 8 seconds so you're not seeing the whole of that. So I'm taking a guess. I'm talking about I'm going to remove the warehouse here in a second. Yep. And this is when this warehouse gets its other form that you're kind of aware of now. It's that little brick building next to the skyscraper. Here it is in its original form. Before I put the door in. See, here's a mention I'm going to probably tear down these buildings. And as a result, one of these buildings' final episode was this episode. So here's the botched, repaired general store. So this is the first time this building was supposed to go away, but it sort of took a few episodes, and this is when I announced the new store, and that was a house back there in the store. Yeah, that's the end of the episode, 1 sec. And we'll go to the next part. So this is this building's final appearance. And that building's final appearance was not this episode, but... So there's the foundation on how I'm talking about the fact that skyscraper's going to go around with these buildings gone. And those terrace houses were finished by this episode. Let's get myself again. We'll go like 108.60. Alright, here's when it first starts to appear. It was basically this whole episode was me building it, so I'm just going to skip back quite a bit. So here's when I cleared the land for the store. And believe it or not, if you caught these episodes, you'll know that some of these buildings did not actually have foundations. I had to add them in. So that store's first appearance was in the last episode, but it was gone by this one. So here's the beginning of its found floor. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit so you don't see all of it, but... So now here's some of the inside. It's not complete yet, so you're just seeing a form. So let me just skip to the next part. Now the Great Earthquake video is kind of short. It's just only like 2 minutes, isn't it? And this is the first time the bridge ever... Oh no, this is the second time the bridge appeared. So you can see the earthquake, the image, caused these terraced houses. And they're removed, and the one over here on the left, or it's just off screen, right here, this one to the left, to be demolished. There's another form, and there's starting this one, the Aston Mansion was abandoned. There's the first appearance of a map. Okay, that's all that one. What's this part? Okay, we'll just jump to part 6 here. So, yes, you can see the foundation then moved City Hall and the Aston Mansion, so. I think I'm saying something like things are changing. So here's the Kmart. And basically its final form. Although in the ranch episode I did mention that I had missed a light. You might see it here. You see it right there? I missed it and I didn't fix it until that episode. Technically, Skyscraper's finished by this episode. We're inside. Let's skip a little bit. updating the map. That's one thing I decided to do later on, was update those maps so you can see how the world's changed. And actually next to me I have a hand-sketched version of some of these maps that I did for my research for this video. I'll show that in another episode, but right now you're just going to see the video portion of it. Oh, you might have noticed when we were doing the skyscraper episode, or when we were under there, that you saw like shulker boxes. I'm going to open them up in this episode so you can see what it was. So here's when we start talking about the Highway Act. So here's the Aston Mansion with the garage, first garage here. So as you may know, I rescued the portico and moved it over here, basically. That's my first listing. We looked inside. It's that in final form. And then this whole episode was like a bunch of stories. I'm going to skip ahead quite a bit here. So now we're working on the roof, it looks like. Okay, so here's the foundations. And the next part would technically be to watch my Christmas stream, because that's when I started working on remove the floors and the windows and all that for the ranches, which some of them made their first appearance in that. But since I don't consider that canon to the storyline, it's not going to be shown here. But if you want to see some of it, and want to see the ranches coming up, then you can see it in that episode. And actually, that's basically it for this episode. I see the next part is over here. So here's part 7. Now it's mainly just the ranches here, but this is for many of them, it's their first or second main appearance. And in the last episode, those 2 new terraces came up. And now this is basically the world as you see it. I'm just going to skip ahead a bit because this one's kind of short, and we all see the terraces now. Now I recommend you watch all the episodes in full, and here's what I mentioned, I'm going to start clearing out the bottom. Excuse me. Alright. So here's mentioned that I'm going to have to clear all that stone out. And that took me hours. In fact, it took me a whole day off to do it. And that's the end here. So let me get back to my world and we'll actually see the end again. Or the bottom again. Alright, we're back. Let's dodge the buildings. That portico is one of my favorite builds, to be honest. I'll give you the world seed so you can build this on your own if you'd like. We'll take a quick look around. And the time capsules, which was the other reason why we're here. Let me get to them. I'm going to have to tear the block up from the top because I can't open it from the bottom. So there's 2. There's one on the Aston side, and this was added after that episode. Oops. Use my efficiency 3 here. So inside is some bottles. There's some papers. This paper says newspaper 11/3/17. Now, if you're not American, we write the date as the month, the date, and the year. If you're in other countries, it'll be 3/11/17 or 17/3/11. However you write it. Some glass bottles. This is the tape box where there's tapes and stuff. Happy wishes from the Astons, and then some money left over and some building blocks. And there's no one on the other side for the association building. or the housing side of it. That's not the Astons. Now this time capsule was originally under the floor, under the stairs, but no, whoops, wrong side. That means I buried my own time capsule with the road. There it is. So there's the same newspaper. There's the tape and record box. Well wishes from the Astons. They put both papers, and there's an opening day. But there was an huge opening day celebration, I didn't tell you about. And then a photo of the current mayor. There was a coin. There was a box of coins and some building materials. And now the seat. I forget how to show you that. That's not it. Built in settings, isn't it? Yeah, wrong one. The seat is 14845060204. With sheets on. Oops, duty lights I clicked that on. I didn't even turn that off. Now there's the thing that infamously made my second episode go horribly wrong. Or my second episode, yeah. Go infamously wrong. Is that fire spreads was that way, not that way. Now I turned it off because I didn't think I was going to burn down the buildings to save time, but I ended up doing it. So that's a blooper reel worthy moment. Yeah, let's resume. And that's the end for this world. I'm not going to delete it yet, but as for series and stuff, this is its final episode in the world itself. So I hope you enjoyed this series that lasted about 2 years, and hope you'll enjoy more of my series as I make them. And with that, thanks for watching, and check out my bonus part 2 when I show you my plans and my sketches for this world and various ideas how I came up with this idea.